Now, what if I tell you that the retirement advice that you've been listening to all your life may be holding you back financially? You may have heard things like, hey, I need $1 million to retire. I can live off 70% of my income. That OAS and CPP is going to look after me. That after 60, I do not need to start investing. Sounds familiar? Well, here it is, guys. Retirement is more personal than rule of thumbs. As a matter of fact, in Canada, you have OAS and you have CPP, but you also have a TFSA, you have an RRSP, you have a RIF, you have annuities, and you have other personal investments that could make up the income that you use during your working years. You see, if you want to retire on a full-time income, you got to make use of these other retirement tools like a TFSA, like an RRSP. We are going to look at 8 retirement myths. We're going to debunk them. We're going to look at things that you may have heard that you believe was true when they are in fact false. But first, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, or drop a comment down below if you want to show the channel some love. If you haven't met me before, my name is Leon Mann. I'm a licensed wealth consultant with Money Assist Financial. And what I do, I help hard-working individuals add an additional multiple 6 to 7 figures to their retirement portfolio. Now, when it comes to retirement, the first myth that you may have heard, I need $1 million to retire. While $1 million is something that makes us think that we're wealthy and makes us think that we're better off, there is no specific magic number that is best for everyone, right? Because $1 million may be too much for one person. It may be too little for another, depending on how you would like to live. And as I was saying before, everyone's needs are different. You may have a different lifestyle. So there is no particular number that means you need to retire to, right? You want to make sure you design a specific number that is best for you. So regarding $1 million, not everyone will need $1 million to retire. The second thing is that OAS and CPP, I can live off of that. Well, here is the thing, guys. OAS and CPP cannot replace a full-time income. As a matter of fact, you have other forms of investments that you can use. You can have a TFSA, you can have an RRSP, you can have annuities, and let OAS and CPP become a part of that. See, OAS and CPP is just the first layer when it comes to your retirement income. The rest is totally up to you. That is, unless you have a defined benefit plan, but many of us do not have a defined benefit plan. So it's up to us to design the retirement income streams that can be used as a TFSA, an RRSP, or things like a RIF. The third myth is that I need to start using my CPP or OAS as soon as possible. Well, it's a big mistake. If you use your CPP, of course you're going to be getting less benefits as opposed to if you were 70 years of age. Now, if you were to defer using OAS and CPP until 70, then you would be entitled to a larger retirement benefit. As a matter of fact, you need other retirement tools to occupy your income until age 70, where you can get the rest of your retirement benefits. And for a lot of us, that may mean going back to work. But if you have investments going for you, like if you have a TFSA, if you have an RSP going for you, this can become like a retirement income stream that you can use in your 60s that will take you all the way to age 70. Now, the fourth myth, and this is something that is big. With the 4% rule, I'll never run out of money. But how many of us have that much at retirement to live off the 4% rule? And the 4% rule does not account for things like taxes, like OAS and CPP. You will have to pay taxes. It does not account for the changing market conditions. And not many people have $2 million or even $4 million at retirement, in which the 4% rule will make more sense. Many people, they have less than $1 million. So with regards to the 4% rule, this may be true if you retire wealthy, but to the majority of us, we may not retire with that kind of money, right? So regarding the 4% rule, that may not necessarily work. Now, the fifth thing is that I'm too old to start investing. Here's the thing, your retirement may last 20 or even 30 years. So it's important to have some kind of investment or some kind of growth working for you, because you do not want to outlive your funds. That's the last thing that you would need, is to become a burden to your kids or to your other loved ones, right? So you want to be ready for a long retirement. It could mean 20, it could mean 30 years with the amount of medical advances that we have these days. Remember, many of us are living a longer age. So it's always important to be ready for this, right? That's the fifth thing. Now, the sixth thing is that my house will become my retirement tool. Your house is an important part of your retirement income strategy. But if you do not know what you're going to do with it, for example, are you going to stay? Are you going to sell it? Are you going to downsize? Or are you going to borrow from your equity? All of this should be considered when you're talking about your house becoming a part of your retirement tool. The seventh thing is that after age 60 or 65, many people think that their financial plan is done, when in fact, after age 65, you need a financial plan that will evolve with your lifestyle. Because remember now, even if your mortgage is paid off, you still may want to travel, you still may want to do leisure activities like hobbies, you still might have healthcare costs or healthcare expenses to consider, and your lifestyle may change up. So you need to have an ever revolving financial plan even after the age of 65. Now, the eighth and final thing is that many of us think we can live off 70% of our income during retirement, when retirement is not based on a percentage of your income, but it's based on the amount of expenses that you have at retirement. For example, if you want to do a lot of things, you may have a high amount of expenses during retirement. So you want to account for all of the hobbies, traveling, and any lifestyle choices that you may have taken up during retirement. And to cover these expenses, you want to make sure your income is able to sustain it, especially when you are going through your 60s and into your 70s, right? There you go, folks. We have debunked the 8 most common retirement myths that a lot of people have gotten confused about. But perhaps the biggest myth is believing that, well, there's a perfect retirement plan for everyone. The truth is, there ain't. Your retirement plan is based on things like your lifestyle, your goals, your definition of financial freedom. You see, the whole idea is to make sure do not retire with rule of thumbs. You want to retire with a financial plan. You want to retire with confidence. Don't just have somewhere that you can retire from, but you want to make sure you know where you're going. You want to have somewhere that you can retire to, because a lot of people, they end up making this mistake. You want to have a destination. There's a lot of times you can retire from something, but unless you know where you're retiring to, you can't retire in confidence. Now, I hope you guys have gotten a lot of good, valuable insights in this presentation. And if you have any questions with regards to your retirement plan, or perhaps setting up a financial plan, feel free to contact me. I will be providing my website in the description below. You can click on my link, you can contact me. And if you like videos as it relates to wealth building, money, and financial strategies, follow for more, and also check out these other videos right here where we turn it up a notch. Until next time, I will see you in the next episode. Peace and love. Take care.